Hello and welcome. In this video or series of videos, I will show you how to write basic and not so basic SQL queries, the kind of queries we're going to use to retrieve data from a database. So let's dive in. For that, I will use a database that I built. It's called the Magazine Sales Database. There are several tables in here. We're going to focus primarily on the sales table for now. Let's look at that. This table records, every row in this table records a sales transaction, shows the sales representative ID, the region in which the sale was made, the sale amount, the magazine. This is a magazine sales table, and then the month that this was made. There's a few other tables here, magazines themselves. There's the regions, east, west, north, and south, and we'll touch these tables later, and then the sales representative information. Okay, so let's start with the sales table. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to start a new query. You go to Create, and we're going to use the Query Design window. When you click the Query Design window, it shows you a dialog which allows you to add the tables that you want to write the query against. As I said, we're going to start with the sales table. I'm going to add that table, and I'm going to click Close. And then I'm in this design view, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch to what's called an SQL view. I can do that in two ways. Either I can right click here and jump to SQL view, or I can go to the design here and then go to view and then choose SQL view. So either way it's fine. And so now, right now, the Access database, which is what we're using here, this is Microsoft Access, has already built the skeleton, if you want, of a basic query. Before we proceed, though, let me show you some real fundamental structure of an SQL query, of a select query. A select query, at the minimum, has to have the select statement. In fact, let's do this. Let's say I want to write out this in an English language statement. I want to select all the data from the sales table. Okay, how do I express that in a query? So the syntax of a SQL statement is really similar. Basically, we want to select all the data from the sales table. So I do that by saying select star represents all the data. I can even break it up like that. Select all the data from the sales table. So here's my query: select all the data from the sales table. And this is it. We have just built our first very rudimentary query. I want to select all the data from the sales table. Select star from sales. Okay, I'm going to run that. And here we go. This is all the data, all the rows from the table. Going back to the original structure here. So this a select query has this structure. First, you always have to start with a select. Then you have a from. Then if you're going to involve, I'm going to delete this semicolon here, and we're not going to use it. If you want to involve multiple tables, you might have a join here, and then if you want to do any filters, if you want to apply any filters, you might have a where clause, and then if you want to do a group by, which we'll talk about later, and then finally an order by. The thing I want to point out is that this order cannot be changed. In other words, I cannot do the order by here before the group by, or here before the where clause. It has to be in this sequence. If I don't have a group by in my query, I just delete it. But the order by, for example, can never go before the where clause, and the where clause can never go before the from clause, for example, right? So the sequence is select comes first, the from second, the where, if there's any join, that's part of the from, and the where, then the group by, if there's any group by, and then the order by. But on that later. For now, we're just going to do select from table. Okay, this is a simple query. Select all the data from a table. All right, let's do this a bit more selective if you want. I want to now pick certain columns from this table. I don't want to select all the columns, but I just want to select the sales rep ID, the sale amount, and the month. How do I do that? I'm going to specify sales, the sales table, dot, sales rep ID, comma, the sales table dot, sale amount, comma, sales table dot month. So you can notice here that I'm explicitly specifying the sales table, which is already specified here. I don't have to do this, so let me run this query first. Here's my sales rep ID, my sale amount, and the month. All the rest of the columns we're not displaying, we're not asking for them in the query, so they're just we just throw them out. I don't have to do the sales dot explicitly whenever I select from just a single table. I can just do that, and it's assumed that it's coming from the sales table. Here's the exact same information. But for consistency and for readability, it is a good idea to add the sales dot in front of all the columns. That clearly states that the column is coming from the sales table. All right, so we've now selected data from specific columns from a particular table. The last thing I want to show you in this video is I want to sort the data. So I'm going to run this query again. Let's say I want to sort the data by the sale amount. I want to see my top sale amount first, the highest sale amount at the top, and the lowest sale amount at the bottom. To do that, I'm going to use the order by clause, and I want to order by sales dot sale amount. Okay, I'm going to run that, and here's my, well, what I just did was I ordered by the sale amount, but by default it assumes ascending order, which means the top amount goes to the bottom. But I said I wanted the top amount to go to the top, therefore I'm going to use the descending order. And specifying it that way, I get the highest amount at the very top. I want to do the opposite, like I just did. I can specify ascending explicitly, and I'm getting the lowest amount at the very top. So we have demonstrated how to select data from a table, certain columns from that table, and we have ordered the data by a particular column in ascending or descending order. And actually, the last thing I want to show you is how to add a filter. I want to filter some data out. To do that, we can use the where clause, or the where keyword. So I want to specify where sale amount is greater than 1,000. So I want to see all the data with all these three columns from the sales table, but only all the data that qualifies to this criteria. In other words, I want to only see data that's where the sale amount is greater than 1,000. Go ahead and run this. Here's all my records. And by the way, notice that they're sorted in ascending order from the lowest amount at the top to the highest amount at the bottom. Sorry. Switching back to SQL view. Here's my query. And this is it for now.